And we are very honored to honor our four-legged and winged heroes who had no voice and no choice, but still served as valiantly as their handlers, serving our countries during war and peace. And it is honoring them and remembering their stories that we also pay tribute to the men and women who served so valiantly. Once again, this is an historic occasion because we're honoring 6 incredible dogs, 3 with the Animals in War and Peace Medal of Bravery that we started in 2019, and then 3 new medals are given with the Distinguished Service Medal. It's a brand new medal we're offering this year, and you'll hear more about that in a moment. For those who don't know me, I'm the host, Robin Hutton. I am the president of Angels Without Wings, and Angels Without Wings, we placed 6 monuments to the Korean war horse, Sergeant Reckless. And they were beautifully done by artist Jocelyn Russell, who is with us tonight. She's here somewhere. You can see Reckless over against the wall over there. But she received Medal of Bravery #1 in 2019. So my 2019 Angels Without Wings also started the Medal in Animals in War and Peace Medal of Bravery. And we did this, my partner Mary Lou Livingood is here, the Livingood Group. We wouldn't be here tonight without Mary Lou's wonderful hard work coordinating with members of Congress with the House Resolution 935 that dropped in February of 2022, February 18th. You'll be hearing more about that in a moment, and hopefully you all got copies of the resolution, and if you didn't, they're on the table outside. But it's amazing. We're trying to get these congressionally mandated awards for these four-legged and winged heroes of ours. Our other host for the evening is Chris Willingham. Chris is a former U.S. Marine gunnery sergeant and dog handler of the great military working dog Luca K458. We honored Luca with our Medal of Bravery #6 last time. Chris is the president of the U.S. War Dogs Association, an amazing organization that supports canine dog handlers and military working dogs nationwide. He'll tell you more about that in a few moments. Right now, I would like to introduce the Reverend Dr. Margaret Grun-Kibben, chaplain of the U.S. House of Representatives, and ask her to give the invocation. Chaplain Kibben was the U.S. Navy's 26th Chief Chaplain, serving as the Director of Religious Ministry for the Department of Navy, advising the Secretary of the Navy and Chief of Naval Operations. I love this woman.
Though I proudly served in both the Navy and the Marine Corps for 35 years. That's about all you need to know. Would you pray with me? Almighty God, you created the earth and all that is in it and called it good. But you did something special when you created dogs. Thank you for designing these faithful companions that they would provide us a profound testimony of what loyalty and compassion should look like. As we honor these canine heroes today and hear the incredible stories of their brave and courageous actions in war and peace, remind us that they serve as an example not just of duty, but of devotion, not just of obligation, but gallantry, not just service, but selflessness. With grateful hearts, we admire the bonds that have been forged between the dogs we honor and their valiant handlers. In that special connection they share, their devotion and steadfast commitment to each other and to this country, may the rest of us see what is truly vital to meeting the challenges of war and peace and achieving freedom and security. Bless then this ceremony as only you can do, and speak into the hearts of these fine animals our gratitude for their sacrifice and service. In the strength of your name we pray. Amen.
Because this Sunday on March 13th is the 80th anniversary of when the War Dog program started during World War II. That is the day that the Army began training and marking the first time that the dogs were officially part of the U.S. Armed Services. The amazing part of this unique piece of history is that the dogs that became part of this program were people's pets. Now, I don't know about anybody else in this room, but my dogs are not going to war. But in World War II, it was a different time, and 40,000 dogs were called into action. 20,000 actually made the cut. 10,425 actually served on the home front and also abroad. And the Marine Corps had an additional 1,300 dogs that served over in the Pacific at this time. And it's just amazing when you consider that part of history. So this Sunday, with the 80th anniversary of K9 Veterans Day, we all would like to celebrate that day. And so every year from now on, this is the time that we're going to be giving this ceremony. So mark your calendars, and we'd love to see you back here the next time. Before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to thank some very special people who made this ceremony possible. And it really is amazing. This is the second year that Linda Blick from Tales of Hope and Barbara Ross have stepped up and provided wonderful help and ideas to make the ceremony so special, and you'll see some of the things that they pulled together. Barbara is our media consultant, and sadly she couldn't make it here tonight. But they have been part of our team and on our board. And we have Art Allen of Adaptive Computing, Gary and Mary West. The Tim Day Foundation has generally supported to the reckless monuments and ceremonies in the past, as had Ted Bassett, Donna Fleece, Robin Leitner. We're so fortunate to have these people be on our side and support us all these years. I'd like to thank our new sponsors, MedVet, which is a leading veterinary-owned and led family of specialty and emergency hospitals dedicated to delivering exceptional care to the more than 500,000 patients each year they have, many of whom are service and working dogs. Deborah Sergister, VFW Post 2916 from Baltimore, who just renamed last year their hall to the Staff Sergeant Reckless Memorial Hall. So we're very grateful for having them here and being a part of this. Ramona and Lee Bass, Martha and Stephen Peterson, and Jamie McLaughlin, we're just so grateful that you all joined us and are part of this wonderful, wonderful celebration. I also need to take a moment to thank our advisory board. These people are just amazing. Their dedication and love for this effort is really, really something. And their support and thoughtful selection of the 2022 medal recipients and this amazing cohort of K9 heroes. As you see their stories, I hope you brought tissues, because there's not going to be a dry eye in this place by the time we're done. This event could not happen without them, and I have to just thank them all really for their efforts and their support. It's just amazing. It's important that we recognize a few distinguished guests who are with us tonight to help us celebrate our animal heroes and handlers. You'll hear from all of them, but we'd like to recognize by asking them to stand. Major General Thomas P. Kane, U.S. Air Force, retired. Lieutenant Commander, he's not here. Lieutenant Junior Grade Anthony Kostak, Assistance Operation Officer of Maritime Safety and Security Team in San Francisco. Assistant Chief Michael Beck, the Uniformed Division of the U.S. Secret Service. Thank you, gentlemen, for being with us. This is absolutely wonderful that you're here and being a part of this ceremony. We're very, very grateful. I'd like to introduce now Mary Lou Livingood, President of the Livingood Group in Washington, D.C., and a board member of Animals in War and Peace, to recognize our members of Congress supporting our efforts tonight. Mary Lou specializes in government relations, securing legislation, funding, and national partners of her clients for over 27 years. Having worked with nonprofit organizations to advance their legislative and philanthropic goals in the D.C. region, Mary Lou has been involved since 2018 and was successful in securing the very first House resolution sponsored by California Representative Lucille Roybal Allard this past February, and signed on with 11 co-sponsors to that wonderful resolution. It's very, very exciting. Hopefully everybody's got a copy of it, and if not, you can pick one up. So Mary Lou, thank you so much.
So here we are to finally recognize these animal war heroes. It's a bittersweet for me, because the Animals in War and Peace ceremony started with the encouragement and support of former Senator John Warner in 2018. As a former decorated World War II and Korean War veteran, Senator Warner understood the important perspective of war and peace to educate the next generation about these valiant animals whose loyalty was a testament to the courage and enduring bond between man and animal. He was adamant that we not just recognize our animals and handlers that served in wars, but the brave animals that also protect our country daily in peace. Senator Warner served as the United States Secretary of Navy from 1972 to 74 and was a 5-term Republican U.S. Senator from Virginia until 2009. There's really no one who made such an early and important impact on our direction for recognizing these American animal war heroes than Senator Warner. While we lost Senator Warner in 2021, his legacy and his vision continue to inspire us to recognize our U.S. animals for their acts of resolute and fearless qualities to the service of America. It's my great honor to recognize our new champion, Representative Lucille Roybal Allard, and we are so grateful to her and her staff in this extraordinary support of House Resolution 935 that was just presented a few weeks ago. We have I got a little cattywonker. Since 2020, Congresswoman Roybal Allard's legislative staff member, Debbie Jessup, has been working with Robin and me in writing and presenting this resolution to members of Congress about this effort. And it's with deep gratitude and heartfelt appreciation to Debbie and to the Congresswoman who's not able to be here today as a small token of thanks for her support for this resolution. So, Debbie, could you come up and join me here as... Our second member of Congress, an honorary guest joining us today, is Congressman Sanford Bishop. Sanford Bishop serves as the United States House of Representatives representative from Georgia's 2nd Congressional District, and he joined us last year, or 2 years. He served as with his presence 2 years ago, and we are so grateful to have him today. We would like to recognize how important it is for the legacy that these members leave to us in making the effort to come to an event like this. So, Congressman Bishop, we're very grateful. Thank you. There are other members that are not able to be here today, and we want to just make sure that we recognize them. We had a lovely surprise a few minutes ago where Congresswoman Dina Titus was able to join us, so we're going to ask her to say a few words in a few minutes. But the others that have been supporting this effort are Julia Brownlee, Chris Pappas, Jamie Raskin, Brian Fitzpatrick, Michael Quigley, Elaine Luria, Charlie Chris, Ted Lieu, and Donald Norcross. So thank you so much for helping us. And there's one last member of Congress that will be joining us later. Gus Bilirakis is a Republican from Palm Harbor representing Florida's 12th Congressional District. Congressman Bilirakis serves on the Energy and Commerce Committee and ranking member of the Consumer Protection and Commerce Committees. He's also serves as co-chair of the Congressional Military Veterans Caucus. So we are grateful for his participation when he arrives.
It's an honor to join you virtually for the 3rd annual Animals in War and Peace Medal of Bravery ceremony. I'd like to thank Robin and Mary Lou for organizing this wonderful event to recognize these remarkable animals and their service to our country. Throughout our history, our armed forces have worked in tandem with highly trained animals, including dogs, horses, and birds, to support our service members' missions and operations. These brave and talented animals of all sizes have been on the front lines of many theaters, and like their handlers and the men and women in uniform they serve with, these animals have risked their lives to save the lives of others. Today, we are here to recognize the crucial role some of these animals have played in defending our nation and protecting our democracy. Today, we are recognizing 6 extraordinary canines who courageously fought alongside American soldiers from the airfields of World War II to the brushes of Vietnam to tours in Afghanistan to currently serving to protect our maritime borders and waterways with the Coast Guard. Foot to paw with human service members, these heroes were and continue to be on the front lines of America's elite forces and federal law enforcement agencies to further the security of our nation. For their heroism and contributions to our nation, today we present these 6 canines with medals to honor their distinguished service. For their service and sacrifice, I am pleased to join you in bestowing these honors to these American animals that have served our country so bravely.
Hello, everyone. I am so honored and humbled to join you in recognizing these amazing animal heroes. I most certainly regret that unavoidable circumstances have prevented me from being with you in person for this wonderful event. I first became aware of the Angels Without Wings organization in 2019 when it was my privilege to present an award during the inaugural Animals in War and Peace medal ceremony. That evening opened my eyes to the remarkable feats of bravery performed by our animal friends in settings of both war and peace. These animal heroes have made significant contributions to the protection of our country and to our brave men and women in uniform. They most certainly deserve to be officially honored. During the past 2 years, I have worked with Angels Without Wings to raise the visibility of these unsung heroes. In February, I was proud to introduce a bipartisan resolution which acknowledged the important role they and their valiant human handlers play at home and abroad, in war and in peace. The resolution recognizes the service of the approximately 3,000 military working dogs, 15,000 police canines, and 2,000 search and rescue teams who serve our nation. And it supports the creation of a new process for honoring our U.S. animals' valor and meritorious achievements. I am grateful to my original 11 co-sponsors from both sides of the aisle who helped me introduce this resolution. And I encourage all my colleagues to join us in supporting the creation of this long overdue Medal of Honor for our animal friends.
Now I'd like to introduce our other co-host for the evening, Chris Willingham. Chris retired after 20 years of faithful service in the United States Marine Corps. He dedicated the majority of his career to the military working dog program and served in key billets from a canine handler to a canine program manager. Chris and his dog Luca were featured in Maria Gudovich's book, Top Dog, which was a New York Times bestseller, by the way. On January 1st of 2021, Chris assumed the role of president of the United States War Dog Association, which supports military working dogs and promotes a long history of their invaluable service. Please welcome Chris Willingham.
I just want to say thank you very much, Ms. Robin, for allowing us to be part of this incredible event. It's absolutely one of our staples of our mission is to bring awareness to the service and sacrifice of military working dogs. And U.S. War Dogs Association is a nonprofit that was established in 2000 by 5 Vietnam dog handlers, and one of the founding members and one of my mentors is Ron Aiello, who's sitting here today. He was one of the first Marine scout dog handlers in Vietnam as well. And a couple years ago, he asked me to take over the association, and it's just an incredible honor to be part of. What it developed into over the last 22 years is a lifetime of practical support for military working dogs. So when they're active duty, we send care packages and fill specialized gear requests. When the dog gets ready to retire, we have a military working dog service award. And the real work begins in retirement, because currently there's no public funds for retired military working dogs, and that's where we come in. Currently we're supporting about 1,200 military working dogs in retirement by covering the cost of their prescription medication. And the idea is if we can take care of that retired dog, we're taking care of the veteran on the other end of the leash. So they don't have to incur that financial burden, because every one of the dog handlers who adopted a dog based off the Robbie Law established in 2000 would gladly incur it, because that dog means the world to them. So we're very happy to be able to step in and assist and provide financial assistance in that retirement. But again, thank you very much for allowing us to be part of this. It's absolutely one of our critical missions, is to help bring awareness to the military working dogs. And now on a transition, we're going to, coming from the Marine Corps background, we understand it's very important to honor our fallen. So we're going to show a video of some of the dogs who have passed away in the last year from the police K9 side. And we have a saying in the military, where you just say their name. It's said you die twice, once when you take your last breath, and again when the last time your name is mentioned. So in that light, we're going to keep their legacies alive by displaying their photos up here, and just ask you to keep them in your memories. We're now going to have a K9 procession. It's also going to be included some of our veterinary corps, some of our staff from the veterinary corps who provide critical care for our military working dogs. These are representing from different agencies and units, and just in show of support for our working dogs worldwide in celebration of K9 Veterans Day coming up on Sunday. Please join me in a round of applause for our canines in the procession. a tennis ball.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the K9 teams and being here and honoring them. This is absolutely fantastic. So now on to the business at hand. Tonight we have 6 dogs we are honoring, 3 posthumous awards, and 3 live dogs that are either still in service or recently retired from active duty. It's important to state that the dogs we're honoring tonight represent the hundreds of military, law enforcement, and volunteer agencies who unselfishly serve and protect our communities every day. Our first 3 recipients tonight represent our brand new Distinguished Service Medal. The Distinguished Service Medal is presented to any animal who recognize distinguished and exceptionally meritorious service in their performance of his or her duties. This medal is awarded to an animal trained to provide a service to the military or first responders. They must distinguish themselves by extraordinary service and heroism, not justifying the Medal of Bravery. To justify this award, exceptional performance of duty, clearly above that normally expected, which has contributed materially to the success of a unit, command, or department is required. The medal is also warranted for sustained superior performance throughout the course of their duties. So let's get started with the first award today, K9 Hurricane. K9 Hurricane is an all-black Belgian Malinois with 4 titanium teeth. That is awesome. Hurricane joined the U.S. Secret Service Emergency Response Team Tactical Canine Unit in November of 2012 and retired after 4 years of service. So we are pleased to offer this video about the amazing story of K9 Hurricane.
My name's Marshall Merarkey. I'm a former Secret Service Special Operations Canine handler. This is my dog, Hurricane. He is now retired. We worked together from 2012 until 2016. Working Secret Service, working in protection, it's 99%, waiting for something to happen and 1% something actually happening. So you have to stay vigilant at all times. The dog adds so much to what the team can do. He's there to protect us. On October 22nd of 2014, it was about 7:30, I believe. It was completely dark out. I was just watching my sector, watching the fence line like I always do. Hurricane was actually awake. He's usually in the back snoring and sleeping. They get very used to patterns and knowing what's out of place. He just started giving off some mannerisms in the back seat that were kind of weird that caught my attention. When I looked up, I saw someone coming up over the fence. At that point in time, President Obama and the First Lady and both daughters were all right inside the residence, right essentially where the individual was heading. Once I realized that the situation looked like it was about to break bad, I deployed Hurricane from the other side of the north grounds, it's a very large distance. When they come out of the car, they know something's happening, but they don't know exactly what's happening. When you send the dog in to apprehend a suspect, you can't tell them it's the 4th guy, not the first couple of guys. That's when all your training hours come in. Once I realized that he locked onto the individual, I deployed him, and the second he got past the last team member who was actually had the individual at gunpoint, he took off into the air and leaped, and he took the individual clean off his feet. The individual is not responding to any pain tolerance at all. Hurricane would bite him in the leg, and he would stomp on him with his foot, and he would switch around to the back, the chest, the hip. They were in a war. The individual got about halfway up the north grounds, Hurricane actually pushed him all the way back throughout the fight, still continuing to push him back and got him all the way to the fence. It was very hard to watch. I've never had to see my dog get hit like that, slammed like that, kicked, punched. That's when I noticed all the blood on him. Didn't know if it was blood from him or blood from the suspect. He was cut up pretty good from the fight. It was unfortunate what happened to him. It upset me a lot, seeing him get hit like that and get hurt. He did what he was supposed to do. He served his purpose as a working dog. He gets to say he stopped somebody from getting in the front door of the White House where the president and his family was right there. That's something really special.
During his time in service, K9 Hurricane and Marshall were awarded the U.S. Secret Service Award for Merit and the Secretary's Award for Valor by the Department of Homeland Security, the first award ever presented to a U.S. Secret Service K9. In 2019, Hurricane was awarded the PDSA Order of Merit in Great Britain. And today, Hurricane becomes the very first recipient of the Animals and War and Peace Distinguished Service Medal. Congratulations, K9 Hurricane, for a job well done.
Good afternoon. As the Assistant Chief of the Secret Service Uniform Division, it is my privilege to join you in recognizing the heroism of Tactical K9 Hurricane. A member of our agency's Special Operations Division Emergency Response Team, Hurricane served his unit with distinction from November 2012 until his retirement in 2016. I want to thank everyone associated with Animals in War and Peace for the outstanding work you do and for working with our friends in Congress to honor the valor and sacrifice of these remarkable public servants. Dating back to 1977, the Secret Service K9 program is essential to our success, and we are grateful for the recognition of these incredible working canines. From the time this Belgian Malinois Hurricane was paired with Officer Technician Marshall Mararchi, the two have been inseparable. Thank you, Marshall, for your years of service to our agency and your continued devotion to Hurricane. As you've seen, the specific actions for which Hurricane is being honored today occurred in October of 2014 when the White House perimeter was breached by an individual who scaled the north fence line while the president and his family were in the residence. Before the call could even be made across the radio, Hurricane had spotted the intruder and was soon engaged in a physical struggle to neutralize that threat. Although battered and bruised during the encounter, Hurricane did not give up. The would-be assailant was quickly handcuffed and arrested, and our no-fail mission was accomplished. On every shift of every day, we at the Secret Service strive to uphold the 5 core values: duty, honor, loyalty, justice, and courage. They are represented by the 5 points on our agency's star, and on a dark night in October 2014, they were embodied by a very good boy named Hurricane. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'd like to now call up Congressman Sanford Bishop, who will present our beautiful Distinguished Service Medal number 1 to K9 Hurricane. He'll say a few words.
Truly, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. We get to celebrate the work of his creatures. These valiant, unsung heroes work alongside the service members of our armed forces, performing vitally important and life-saving work while putting their own lives on the line for our country. The inclusion of service animals in our armed forces dates back for centuries and has included a range of militant mascots such as birds, horses, elephants, camels, and of course, dogs. In their pursuit to protect and to serve our nation, these courageous companions are extensively trained to perform a range of duties including transportation and mounted attacks, espionage, the detection of sonic waves and explosives, area patrol, search and rescue. Unfortunately, they often bear the burden of battle along with their handlers who have served in our armed forces and with our defense agencies. This year's cohort of canines is no different. These 6 heroic hounds have served on the front lines of our nation in war, at the White House, and in our waterfront communities. This afternoon, I want to take a moment to recognize a member of this cohort who is both fearless and, as you have seen, when necessary, ferocious. That is K9 Hurricane, Secret Service officer, retired. Few humans, let alone our K9 friends, have the honor of protecting the President of the United States. Hurricane is one of them, and he has demonstrated determination, resolve, and heroism. As you have heard, in 2014, he stopped the intruder who breached the White House perimeter fence and raced toward the residence. And of course, you saw how he apprehended the intruder. Thanks to the dedication and the commitment of these amazing animals, no mission is impossible. Thank you all again for having me tonight to have the honor of presenting this award to Hurricane and to Marshal Meraki, Secret Service retired K9 Hurricane's handler. I say to you, thank you so much for your service, and our nation is forever grateful for your service.
Oh my God. All right. Awesome. Teamwork. Here, want to take that? And now a word from Mr. Meraki. You can go there. It'll be easier for you.
All right, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you everyone at Animals and War and Peace for putting on such an amazing event. And thank you to the Secret Service, of course. Thanks, Chief, for the speech. You guys have been supporting me since we started. Super appreciative of it. I have my K9 instructors here. Thank you for coming. You know, wouldn't be up here if it wasn't for you guys. You put us in the spots where we can succeed. You know, you guys are always in the shadows. We're extremely thankful for all the training, for everything you've done to set us up for success. You know, 10 years ago, never had a dog before, signed up for ERT K9, showed up the first day, and the instructors, they give you a leash and a harness and tell you to go in and pick one. I walked down the line and I saw the different dogs and, you know, wasn't sure what to make of it all. I saw Hurricane and I knew that was my partner. I knew that's who I was, you know, gonna spend my career with, and we bonded immediately. You know, 10 years later, here we are. I could have never imagined being in front of all you. Everyone loves dogs. We all have one thing in common in this room. I mean, you can't ask for anything more. Watching that video is still hard for me. You know, 2014, Hurricane stepped up and he was willing to put it all on the line. And you know, we talk about protecting the president, protecting the White House. You know, Hurricane doesn't know he's at the White House. Hurricane doesn't know the president's inside. Hurricane knows somebody's coming aggressively towards Dad, and I'm going to stop him. And, you know, I got to experience something that most people don't get to. I got to see my partner, you know, my best friend. He was willing to put it all on the line. If he had to take it to the end, he would have. And, you know, it was one of the hardest things I ever had to do, to not interfere and not step in and try and take over the situation. But I know him, I trusted him. I know he would never forgive me if I stopped him from doing what he needed to do. So, you know, every time I get to look at him now, I get to know I have a dog, a best friend, a partner who was willing to die for me. Still getting these awards now.
It's beyond humbling, and I'm just so thankful for everyone to be here. Thank you, Robin, Mary Lou. Thank you for putting this on. This is truly amazing, and thank you, everyone, for honoring our heroes.
Congresswoman Dina Titus is going to say a few words.
I wanted to come by and thank Mary Lou and Robin and Chris and their wonderful organizations for what they do. You know, it's not just this ceremony today, but they educate the public, they advocate for this issue, and they congratulate these fabulous heroes. And so I'm delighted to be here. I was here at the first one of these ceremonies. I didn't get to have a dog, but I had a bird. The bird was G.I. Joe from World War II, who had flown 20 miles in 20 minutes to save 100 men from being bombed. So he was quite the hero also. These stories just take your heart out and stomp on it because they're just so moving. But we know how valuable our animal friends are in war and peace. And not only should we honor them in a ceremony like this, but we should help our veterans in the programs where they also have companion dogs, because even if they weren't on the battlefield there, we shouldn't leave them behind here. And so we're working on that, and we'll ask you for your help in getting that passed as well. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Okay. So Congressman Jamie Raskin had this message for our medalists.
Hi, it's Congressman Jamie Raskin from Maryland's beautiful 8th Congressional District, and I'm delighted to greet all of the attendees at the second annual Animals in War and Peace Medal ceremony. I remember being at the last one and being so moved by the stories of great canine heroism. So I want to thank Animals in War and Peace, the Live in Good group, and U.S. War Dogs for the opportunity to help you present distinguished service medals to these unsung military dog heroes. Military dogs have played a critical role in the success of our armed services in various different wars and entanglements. And I am very appreciative of the role that these dogs have played, and the trainers have played, and their owners have played. And I want to restate my thanks to all of you, and I hope everybody has a wonderful awards ceremony. Thanks so much, and I look forward to seeing all of you guys next year.
I got Smoky through a friend who was driving in the jungle of Nadzab, New Guinea, and the Jeep stalled. Donnie was wiggling the wires, and he heard this yapping off to the side of the road. And he turned around and looked, and he saw this little gold head trying to jump out of an abandoned foxhole. I don't know how long she was in that foxhole, but probably couldn't have survived more than 2 or 3 hours out there. He comes back to the tent and says to me, "Hey, Win, you should see the dog I found out in the jungle." He says, "Yeah, why didn't you give it to me?" He says, "Okay." So I gave him 2 pounds, and that's how I got Smoky. I was assigned to the 26 Photo Recon Squadron. While I was there, I got dengue fever. I'm in the hospital, and we get an announcement that Smoky wins the best mascot in the Southwest Pacific, and she gets a silver trophy. And with this, I'm in the hospital, so the guys bring it, and they brought a picture. They got a Yank magazine with the photo in it, and the nurses see this photo and the dog. So you hear the story. He said, "Could we ask our CO if we could take Smoky on rounds with us? We got a bunch of wounded fellows coming in from the Biak Island invasion. They love her because she's one of them." And I don't know who she saw or what she did, but I would like to have been there now, knowing how it went, to have these wounded GIs have this little dog being around with them. And Smoky is credited with being the first therapy dog on record. I took her on the combat mission, so she went on 12, and she had about 73 combat hours. While we were there, this was the first air base that was taken. It was at Lingayen Gulf, where the main invasion took place. The communications had to get a wire through there, a telephone wire, to call, be in a position to call to get help if anything happened. The combat engineers that had moved down to Baguio, 40 miles away, the fighting was continuing, so all of their equipment was gone. We didn't have that kind of equipment. We'd have to do it the hard way, lifted everything by hand. And so they asked if Smoky, they thought Smoky could pull the wire through this pipe. Well, this was going to save 3 days of 70 men digging, removing the matting, pulling the culvert apart, put the wires in, put the culvert back, laid the 3 foot of sand on top of it, then the matting. We tied a kite string on her, and then I coaxed her through, and Gap was feeding the line. Is she still coming? Yeah, still feeding line. So we came through in about 2 minutes. All of a sudden, I saw dust all around, and then Smoky appeared out of the dust about 10 feet in, and I kept calling her, and she came through. And we were so thrilled because this saved all this particular work. Then they finally pulled the string, and they got heavier wire, and they pulled the cables through. And that was how Smoky did this particular feat.
There are 6 monuments and 4 additional memorials to Smoky around the world, including one in Brisbane, Australia. In 2011, Smoky received the PDSA Certificate for Animal Bravery or Devotion to Duty. Today, we are so proud that Smoky receives the 2nd Animals in War and Peace Distinguished Service Medal. Congratulations, Smoky, for a job well done. Ladies and gentlemen, since Congresswoman Roybal Allard is not here tonight, she will present Smoky's medal virtually, and then her legislative aide, Debbie Jessup, will say a few words and present the medal to Congresswoman's behalf.
The animals that are being recognized today are the truest of heroes because they have been motivated by pure service and loyalty to others. It is my privilege to present the Distinguished Service Medal to the family of Smoky, a Yorkshire Terrier who served in the 50th Army Air Force during World War II. After being found in an abandoned foxhole in 1944 in the New Guinea jungle, Smoky worked alongside Corporal William Wynn of Cleveland, Ohio, for the next 2 years and accompanied him on 12 combat missions. Smoky became a hero in her own right when she helped Allied forces build an airbase in Luzon, Philippines. By carrying a 70-foot communication wire through an 8-inch pipe, she helped save the landing strip, the 40 warplanes from destruction, and she prevented the exposure to the Japanese of 250 U.S. military personnel. According to an Animal Planet investigation, Smoky was the first recorded therapy dog. Her service began at the 233rd Station Hospital in New Guinea, where she accompanied nurses to see the incoming battlefield casualties. Her combined service during and after the war spanned 12 years. My congratulations to Smoky and all the awardees for their outstanding accomplishments. Our nation is safer and stronger because of their gallantry, and I thank them and their brave handlers for their service to our country. My policy advisor, Debbie Jessup, will now present the Distinguished Service Medal to Smoky's family.
And Debbie Jessup will present the Distinguished Medal number 2.
My name is Jay Wynn, and I'm the son of Smoky's master, Bill. And I'm here today with my wife, Kathy, and my daughter, Anna. On behalf of Smoky, my family, and our entire family, thank you so much for this wonderful medal honoring Smoky's wartime contributions. Smoky's beginning story is a mystery. She was found in 1944 in New Guinea, in a jungle, in a foxhole, by one of my dad's comrades whose Jeep had stalled in the middle of nowhere. Meanwhile, my dad grew up in the streets of Cleveland with no father during the Great Depression and had spent 2 years of his life in an orphanage. It's been said the story of these two underdogs is stranger than fiction, and it's true. Dad purchased Smoky for 2 Australian pounds, and they became fast friends and partners, and went on to do many things until her passing in 1957. In his retirement, he wrote and published a memoir entitled Yorkie Doodle Dandy. And you could tell he loved telling the story. Dad passed away last April, 3 weeks after his 99th birthday, and he knew of the medal here, and he wanted so badly to accept it.
I know.
So it seems appropriate to mention today that while heroic and brave dogs are being honored, it's the relationship between the animal and the handler that creates the impetus for the action. And that means the handlers are being honored as well. With that being said, I'd like to end it with a quote from my dad's book before giving my daughter an opportunity to speak. In dog training, it's important for a rapport to be maintained by constant companionship. A dog and master are always being molded into a team, each learning about the habits of the other, what is expected of the other. The more they are together, the better the team becomes.
Aw.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anna Wynn, and I'm so happy to be here. To know a little bit about me, today is my 14th birthday. Woo! Thank you. And I'm the youngest grandchild of Bill Wynn. But today isn't about me, so I'd like to start off by talking about my grandfather, Bill Wynn. Everyone loved him, his great stories about the war, his huge photo album of pictures, but the main attraction to him was his dog, Smoky. Every time I would go to his house to visit, he would have a big box of pictures ready to show. Always new ones, never the same. He loved taking pictures, and that's why he was a photographer during the war and for the Plain Dealer, which is a local Cleveland newspaper. He took photos of nature, things in the war, but mostly his best friend. Smoky was the light of the dark times of war. She saved so many people in lots of different ways. She might have been less than a foot tall, but she was a hero. In the fictional world, a hero is someone described as strong, big, brave, and known for having superpowers. But in my heart, a hero is someone who saves the life of another living thing. Rather, it is them pushing someone out of the way of a car and risking themselves getting hurt, or giving advice to help keep friends or strangers alive. As Hercules once said, a true hero isn't measured by the size of his strength, but by the strength of his heart. Thank you.
And happy birthday, Anna. This is awesome. Really. Our next medalist is taking time off from duty in the U.S. Coast Guard in San Francisco to come here today and receive his medal personally. Let's watch the story of Feco.
Petty Officer First Class Corey Sumner, Maritime Enforcement Specialist at Maritime Safety and Security Team, San Francisco. Feco is a 8-year-old Hungarian Vizsla that we repaired up in December of 2014. My initial reaction to meeting Feco at Lackland was I had never seen a Vizsla before, and he was bouncing all over the place, and I was like, he's got a lot of energy. He's going to be a fun dog. So a CDET is a canine explosive detection team, and our responsibilities are explosives detection in the port of San Francisco. We're also deployable nationwide. So as far as training goes, is we expose our dogs to as many different areas as possible, mainly in the maritime realm. But here locally, we'll train with BART, San Francisco PD, Alameda County. We train airports, BART stations, trains, buses, and it's just, you never know where you're going to get called to go do a search at. So we train in as many different areas as possible. That way we're always ready to go do whatever we need to do. Me and Feco, on a daily basis, if we're not out training or with one of our local agencies, we're riding ferries, sweeping the ferry terminals. As far as the operations go, we've done 3 Super Bowls, 2 World Series, college football, NBA basketball, Stanley Cup playoffs, just any large sporting event you could think of. For the vertical delivery training that we do, we are the only teams in the Bay Area that do that. The purpose of it is to board a ship that we believe may have something on it out at sea, versus bring it into the bay to search it while it's at sea. It's important to train with the air station for vertical delivery, because you don't want your first time that you do that to be in an operational environment. So you want to be able to have the dogs acclimated and used to the rotor wash, the noises, the smell of the helicopter, and actually going out the door on the cable being lowered down. My favorite memory with Feco would have to be the 2016 Olympic track and field trials. That's our first deployment together as a team. And that was almost 3 weeks of working 10-hour plus days, and I think that's when we really started to form a bond as a team and learned each other a lot better. Feco will retire in July of 2022. He's been a joy to work with. He's not only my partner, he's become my best friend over the years. We're together every day, all day, so I spend more time with him than my wife and kids. So he is, he's my best friend. He's always there for me.
K9 Feco is an outstanding dog that has outperformed those in his class. In his career, he has conducted over 1,335 searches, and as a team, Feco and Corey have spent over 2,300 hours conducting more than 584 patrols together. We are very proud to award K9 Feco with the Animals in War and Peace Distinguished Service Medal No. 3. Congratulations, Feco, for your continued distinguished service with the U.S. Coast Guard. Woo! Congratulations. Congratulations, Feco.
My name is Anthony Kostick, and I am the Assistant Operations Officer at the Maritime Safety and Security Team in San Francisco. I would like to start with thanking Ms. Hutton, Ms. Livingood, Mr. William, and all the members of Congress and the House of Representatives for bringing to light and supporting the contributions and sacrifices of American animals who have served our country past and present. Tonight, I would like to offer my congratulations and my sincerest gratitude to all the Animals in War and Peace Medal of Bravery and Distinguished Service Medal recipients. The Coast Guard K9 Detection Team's primary purpose is to deter acts of terrorism in the maritime environment. The United States Coast Guard has a long history of military working animals. During the early years of World War II, enemy submarines were sighted on both east and west coast, and on several occasions, German spies landed on East Coast beaches. These incidences led to the establishment of the Coast Guard Beach Patrol, and by August 1942, the first Coast Guard dog was on patrol. During the war, more than 2,000 dogs participated in beach patrols alongside their Coast Guard handlers. As new threats evolved, the Coast Guard K9 team's capabilities evolved as well. The modern Coast Guard K9 explosive detection program was initiated as a result of the September 11th terrorist attacks. The Coast Guard was tasked with a variety of maritime homeland security missions, including high-capacity vessel safety and security sweeps, and the best tool for the job was a K9. Due to their ability to detect small amount of explosives, Coast Guard K9 units could effectively screen vessels before and after they left port. Thus, the modern Coast Guard K9 program was born. Feco. Feco is a 9-year-old Hungarian Vizsla. His birthday was on Monday. Easily recognized by his sleek golden rust coat and boundless energy. He's a well-tempered, affectionate canine who displays a steadfast loyalty to his shipmates, to his handler, and to his duties as a critical component in the highly populated San Francisco Bay Area's security umbrella. Feco underwent a comprehensive screening process to identify specific behavioral traits ideal for an explosive detection training program. Following his acquisition, Feco endured a demanding training regimen at the Transportation Security Administration's K9 Training Center, located at Joint Base San Antonio-Laughlin in San Antonio, Texas. This facility is recognized as the nation's premier canine explosive detection training center, preparing animals to serve at local, state, and federal agencies across the United States. It was here that Feco learned to detect 25 different odors that could signal a potential threat to the public. Feco withstood 15 weeks of pre-training before being matched with his handler, Petty Officer Corey Sumner. The pair then underwent a week of classroom and obedience training to solidify their bond. After certifying as a team, Petty Officer Sumner and Feco joined the K9 Explosive Detection Team at the Maritime Safety and Security Team in San Francisco in 2014. Within the first 6 months of operating together, training was conducted in numerous high-risk scenarios they could potentially be exposed to in the field, including vertical deliveries and vessel-to-vessel hoisting. During these complex evolutions, Feco and Petty Officer Sumner were hoisted together to and from a helicopter and delivered to sites without easy access. Or Feco is lifted up to the main deck of a large vessel via a complex pulley system while a Coast Guard boat maintains a watchful eye. To maintain these certifications, the pair frequently conducts training missions with Coast Guard units and other governmental agencies within the Greater Bay Area, including Coast Guard Air Station San Francisco, the California Highway Patrol, the East Bay Parks Air Unit, and the Army Corps of Engineers. Feco has attended high-profile gatherings and protected hundreds of thousands of lives at events to include NFL Super Bowls, a visit from the Second Lady of the United States, multiple San Francisco Fleet Weeks, the AT&T Pro-Am Golf Tournament in Monterey, California, and security sweeps of U.S. Supreme Court members' motorcades. Feco always stays busy. We often joke that he has more Hilton Honors points than all of us at the unit. Even with Feco's busy schedule, he still finds time to relate to the youth over the years via social media, with the many viral hashtag Feco Friday posts. I was asked to plug, so please leave us a comment, subscribe, give it a thumbs up, as it really supports the page. I am truly honored and privileged to have been able to work with Petty Officer Sumner and Feco for the past 2.5 years. A dog person myself, owning 2 of my own, I was told once that no one appreciates the very special genius of your conversations as much as a dog does. Granted, my wife was the one that told me that, so I'm not sure if I was in trouble but I do know this. No matter how little money you may have or how few possessions you may own, having a dog enriches your life beyond measure. We're gathered here tonight to give these animals a platform to showcase their tales of heroism, no pun intended, to give them the recognition they deserve. I hope for the continued prosperity of this event, as it shows how truly rich and fortunate we are as a country to have these animals. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. This is just great. So I'd now like to introduce Congressman Gus Bilirakis, who will come up and present the Medal of Bravery, the Medal of Distinguished Service to Feco. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it very much. It's an honor and a privilege to be here. And Feco and Hurricane, you truly are heroes in our eyes, and of course their handlers as well. We have something in common. We both with Feco, because we both love sports. I think he's been to a few more Super Bowls than I have. I'd like to know who he rooted for last year. I hope he rooted for the Bucks the year before. He's probably a big Tom Brady fan. It is a privilege to be here to honor the achievements of these canine heroes. Too often we solely focus on the service and sacrifice of our nation's veterans, who are our true heroes as well, without also recognizing the critical contributions provided by the heroes on the other end of the leash. And I've been involved in this, and the service dog therapy saves lives, there's no question. And these hero dogs have saved so many lives over the years. We owe them so much. And of course, you say in Washington, dogs are a man's best friend. And they say if you're in D.C., you're in Washington, and you don't have a friend, get a dog. And it's so very true. They are so loyal. Again, I've been a long-time advocate of recognizing the contributions of animals having in our lives. I have the honor of co-chairing the Congressional Caucus, again, for the Humane Bond, a bipartisan group that was created to celebrate and highlight the importance of the vital, often life-saving bond between people and animals. And, also, when we have these functions, because I co-chair several caucuses, I don't co-chair this one, but this is a wonderful organization. They say to get animals here. If you get animals here, you get a good crowd, and that's so true. I applaud Animals of War and Peace for putting this spotlight on these heroes to recognize their remarkable achievements, and I'm proud to be an original co-sponsor of H.R. 935, and I tell you what, if you want bipartisanship, you bring these animals here every day, and we'll get things done. That's for sure. So this particular resolution would recognize the contributions these service animals and their handlers have made in both war and peace. But today isn't about me. It's about these heroes right here, and they're amazing how smart they are as well. It's about honoring these particular hero dogs. Today, I have the honor to present Feco with the Animals in War and Peace Distinguished Service Medal. Feco is part of a K9 explosive detective team working under the Maritime Safety and Security Team in San Francisco, California, so he's probably a 49ers fan. Feco, can you bring Tom Brady back to the Bucs? And then the next year he can get a Super Bowl for the 49ers. Still serving, Feco has tirelessly conducted over 1,335 searches, including vehicles, maritime vessels, buildings, luggage, people, and mass transit facilities. Feco has spent over 2,335 hours conducting more than 584 demanding patrols around the Bay Area, protecting the California coastline. Incredible. I firmly believe our nation's safer due to Feco, and I thank you, Feco, for your service to our country. God bless you. All right, very good. Thank you.
Go ahead, Corey. You want to say?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, members of Congress, and distinguished guests. First off, I'd like to thank Ms. Hunter and her team for taking the time to put together this event to help bring attention to the work the canines and their handlers do across the country every day. I'd like to thank my wife, Elaine, son, Colby, and daughter, Annika, for their never-ending love and support and understanding of being canine handlers, family, and the demands of the job. Thank you to Lieutenant Commander Berger, Lieutenant Cody Bear, Lieutenant Junior Grade Anthony Gostick, and the rest of the command at the unit for giving us the support and freedom to go out and complete our mission. Then there's Feco. Of all the dogs I've ever had, Feco is the only one that's kept me laughing and wondering, what are you doing at the same time? He's probably also the most accident-prone dog I've ever had.
but through all the bumps, lumps, and a 2-year battle with aspergillosis, one thing that always stood out is Feco never gave up. He was always ready to go out and perform his job, never complained, never whined, never asked questions. Feco has actually been utilized over 1,500 times during his career. We've gone to places and done things during the course of his career I never imagined I would be doing in the Coast Guard. Those experiences and memories with time with Feco, I'll never forget. I'll always treasure those memories and have them even after he's gone. Receiving this medal is a good way to wrap up his time as a working dog as he heads off to retirement in June. Thank you again to Ms. Hutton and her team for taking time to recognize the work that Feco has done over his 8 years. It is truly an honor and a humbling experience to be here.
Our next Medal of Bravery tonight goes to U.S. Navy SEAL Team 6, K9 Cairo, the only dog that was on the raid that killed Osama bin Laden in Operation Neptune Spear. Here is his remarkable story.
Hello, I'm former Navy SEAL and author of No Ordinary Dog, Will Chesney. I spent 13 years in the Navy. During my time in the Navy, I was stationed at SEAL Team 4 and Naval Special Warfare Development Group, also known as SEAL Team 6. During my time in the Navy, I got to have a lot of great teammates. Some of those teammates happened to be military working dogs. I had a working dog, his name was Cairo. I first met Cairo upon returning from my first deployment with Development Group. During that first deployment, I saw just how valuable the dogs were, and they were basically saving our lives almost nightly. So I expressed interest in becoming a handler, and I was told I would become a handler when we were done with that deployment. So after a few weeks of training, I was told that I would be receiving Cairo. Cairo and I worked very well together. He was one of those low-maintenance dogs that made my life a lot easier. We had a lot of great training trips, and we had a lot of great deployments together. Cairo was actually shot before the bin Laden mission on one of our first deployments. Those 2 bad guys were set up in an ambush waiting for us to come in, and Cairo was out front. He ended up engaging the guys before they could engage us, and he was shot twice. He was shot through his chest and through his arm. After I heard the gunshots going off, I started to call Cairo back to my location. Cairo was a really good listener, and when he didn't return quickly, I was getting worried. And he eventually made his way all the way back to me, but when he was about 20 feet away, he collapsed. And Malinois just don't collapse. They're not that kind of dog. So I immediately thought he was dead. I was able to make my way to his position where I saw he was still alive. My teammate came back to assist, and we were able to work on Cairo and save his life. After we saved his life, he went on to rehab, and I eventually got him back. And we did more deployments together, including getting to go on the Osama bin Laden mission. In May of 2011, Cairo and I got to participate in Operation Neptune Spear. That was the operation to capture kill Osama bin Laden. Our responsibilities that night were pretty much just like any other night. I was basically there to babysit Cairo, and he was there to use his nose to find any explosive odor or any bad guys hiding. So once we landed, our first job was to do laps around the perimeter. We were looking for any escape tunnels, any explosives, any booby traps. Once we felt that the perimeter was secure, we made our way to the inside, where we started doing the sweeps for the same thing. We were looking for any hidden rooms, any false walls, any hidden explosives. We were on a time crunch that night. We only had about 30 minutes to get in and out. So we worked as fast as we could, and once we made it up to the second floor, the call was said over the radio that Osama bin Laden was killed. It was Geronimo, Geronimo, Geronimo. So we knew the mission was complete, and that was a very good feeling. I'll never forget that moment.
Upon returning home from the mission, all SEAL Team 6 members were immediately awarded the Silver Star. President Obama and then Vice President Biden also presented the SEALs with a Presidential Unit Citation. When President Obama learned that Cairo was part of the raid, the president said, "I want to meet that dog," and so he did. In December 2011, before his name had even been made public, Cairo was named Time Magazine's Animal of the Year. And today, we proudly award Cairo with the Animals in War and Peace Medal of Bravery number 10. Congratulations, Cairo, for your amazing service to your country with the Navy SEALs.
Congratulations, Cairo. Will Chesney sadly could not be with us tonight, but we do have a stand-in for Cairo to receive the medal. Taylor, would you like to come up? Taylor Canfield and his dog, Nico. Taylor is SEAL Team 7, and so is Nico. And Congressman Gus Bilirakis will present the Medal of Bravery for Cairo.
Would you like me? Okay, very good. Thank you. This is really a tremendous honor for me, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to do this. I'm so proud to present Cairo, and we have a stand-in here, the pinch hitter here. It's all about sports, right? We present Cairo the Animals in War and Peace Medal of Bravery. While he isn't here personally, as you know, to receive the award today, our nation is truly in debt to his service and sacrifice. Cairo served as a U.S. Navy SEAL and fought for our country on the front lines. In fact, Cairo took part in Operation Neptune Spear, the raid that eliminated Osama bin Laden in Pakistan. Cairo provided perimeter security during the raid, searching for bombs and escape tunnels. After Cairo provided the all clear, the other SEALs went inside the building to take out the most notorious terrorist in American history. Cairo clearly is a badass. He took out bin Laden. Cairo also made significant sacrifices during his service to our country. During his tours, Cairo was shot twice in the line of duty, recovered, and continued serving. Cairo has admirably served our country and is truly deserving of this honor and this award. Congratulations, and thank you for standing in for Cairo. We appreciate it so very much. And folks, let me just say this. We need to bring back our war dogs to their handlers. And again, they're heroes overseas, but they're also heroes because they save lives over here. I know what a service dog can do and continue to do for our heroes, our human heroes. Thank you very much, and I want to present this award to Cairo.
This is Nico as the stand-in. Oh, that's awesome. That's okay. Whoop. Thank you. This is for you. Yeah, absolutely. God bless you, sir. Awesome. Taylor, would you like to say a few words?
First of all, Robin, thank you guys so much for putting this on. Congressmen and women who are here, this is pretty amazing to see, and finally to all the patrons that support this, you guys, I mean, it takes everyone to do this, so thank you all for coming. It's all for the glory of the dogs, and my teammate and brother Will Chesney would tell you the same thing. If you have not read his book yet, it's called No Ordinary Dog, and Will's a very big proponent that this is literally all for the glory of the dogs. So thank you all for coming. As Robin, the congressman, said, my name's Taylor Canfield. I was with SEAL Team 7. This is my hidden companion, Nico. We were deployed to Afghanistan together, and I can't tell you guys the meaning of these dogs to us on these deployments, and not only do they save lives, but I can truly tell you from the bottom of my heart, this creature, as I refer to him, has kept me out of some very dark places. So I call him a creature because, you know, we've got canines that hang around at home, and then there's a creature, and I think the creature is just kind of capable of extraordinary things, and I wish I could show you all exactly what these dogs are capable of, but it's just something you have to see and believe the handlers when they say these dogs are absolutely incredible. He wanted to say a few words, but he devoted to be a silent monk on the way up here, so thank you guys again. We appreciate you, and again, check out Will's book if you guys haven't read it yet. So thank you all.
There's a copy of it in the back so you can see it.
So thank you all for coming.
Good evening. My name is Ron Aiello. I'm a founding member of the United States War Dogs Association, and I was one of the first of 30 Marine Scout dog teams to be deployed to Vietnam with my canine partner Stormy in 1966. In 1966, there was also another dog team over there, Air Force dog team, and the dog was Nemo, and the handler was Second Class Airman Thornburg. Now, they were stationed at the Tan Son Nhut Air Base in the Republic of Vietnam, and their job was to patrol a section of the perimeter in the evening to keep out any infiltrators. On the night of December 4th, 1966, as they're patrolling the perimeter, Nemo starts barking out into the distance, and Thornburg keeps looking out into the distance, but he can't see anything, it's too dark. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, 4 Viet Cong appear, moving towards them. They're fully armed with rifles, satchel charges. So Thornburg doesn't have enough time to call in for backup, so he starts firing at them, and he releases Nemo, and Nemo goes in and he's attacking all 4 Viet Cong. Then Thornburg gets shot in the shoulder, and as he spins around from the first shot, he gets shot again in the back of the shoulder, and he goes down. So he looks out into the distance, and he can see Nemo still fighting the 4 Viet Cong. So it gives him enough time to call in for backup. So when backup finally arrived, Thornburg was laying on the ground on his back. Nemo was laying across his chest. The Viet Cong had retreated. Now, what's amazing about this story of Nemo is that when Nemo went in, the Viet Cong shot his right eye out. The bullet went in his eye, came out the side of his jaw, tore gas in it, and yet Nemo continued to fight the enemy as he was trained to do, just like a good soldier. And when the Viet Cong retreated, Nemo immediately went back to his handler, Thornburg, to protect him. Now that's bravery. There's no other word for it but bravery from a canine military dog. And I'm just glad to be here tonight to be part of this event to honor Nemo for the Bravery Award.
On June 23, 1967, Air Force Headquarters directed Nemo to be returned to the United States with honors, as Nemo was officially recognized for not only saving his handler's life, but also preventing further destruction of life and property at the airbase. He was the very first sentry dog officially retired from service, and one of only 200 dogs returned home from Vietnam. Nemo became the face of the Canine Corps and had a permanent retirement kennel at Lackland Air Force Base. He helped recruit thousands of dogs into military service until his death in 1972. In October 2008, his kennel was memorialized with a statue and stone marker that still stands today. Our own Chris Willingham was part of that effort. We are very proud to award Nemo with the Animals in War and Peace Medal of Bravery No. 9. Thank you, Nemo, for your bravery and service with the U.S. Air Force.
Congratulations, Nemo. Congressman Pappas couldn't be here tonight in person, but he made a video presentation. So please welcome Major General Thomas Kane, U.S. Air Force retired, and Ron Aiello, thank you very much for that video, to come up here to help present the medal.
So all of the animals that are up here getting recognized, I think we give one great round of applause because we got one more after Nemo. How about a round of applause? Robin asked me to tell you a few things. San Antonio is not a joint base, and as you've heard, Lackland Air Force Base serves as the home where we train most of the DoD working dogs. Today, there are over 1,600 dogs that perform those duties in service of our country around the globe. The handlers that work with these dogs in about a 200-day enterprise are a weapon system that this United States needs to continue to preserve, respect, and proliferate in our country. They're a weapon system. And though the Secret Service and all the other dogs that do different work around the country for the first responders, I think we've learned tonight about that valuable input that they make to our freedom every day. So I would like now to introduce Chris Pappas, Congressman from New Jersey, to say a few words about Nemo.
Everyone, I'm Congressman Chris Pappas from New Hampshire. As a member of the House Committee on Veterans Affairs and the Congressional Animal Protection Caucus, I want to thank you for inviting me to join this year's Animals in War and Peace medal ceremony. There are currently over 3,000 military working dogs in the United States, and there's an increasing need for military working dogs to safeguard bases, detect bombs and explosives, interdict drugs, and aid in search and rescue operations. The dogs and handlers recognized today took part in the raid that killed Osama bin Laden, protected a president, and seized weapons and explosives that undoubtedly saved lives. One such dog, Nemo, a German Shepherd, is being recognized posthumously this year. While on patrol in Vietnam, Nemo alerted his unit on a group of enemy soldiers hiding in the brush. Nemo charged them and was shot twice, as was his handler, Bob Thronberg. Though wounded, Nemo crawled to Bob and protected him until help arrived. Thankfully, Nemo and Bob recovered from their injuries that day. Bob's son is here to receive this medal today, and we're so grateful for your family's service and sacrifice. In Congress, I co-sponsored H.R. 935, recognizing the contributions of service animals and human handlers, and I've worked on the Committee on Veterans Affairs to ensure that those veterans who have served this country get the care, services, and benefits that they've earned when their service ends. So thank you to the organizers of today's event for your work to educate the public and raise awareness. And thank you to the dogs and their brave handlers who served our country both in times of war and peace. Thank you all and take care.
I want to thank you all for being here today for the Animal in War and Peace Memorial or ceremony. I'm honored to nominate Nemo. Now, Nemo represented 4,300 dogs in Vietnam that served in Vietnam. Nemo and Thornburg also represented the bond between a dog and a handler. You had a handler who was shot. They were fighting side by side. He was shot. He looked over before he passed out to see where Nemo was. And then Nemo, after fighting the Viet Cong, when they retreated immediately with all the pain he must have been feeling, came back to protect his handler. That's the bond between the dog and the handler in the military. About 15 years ago, two young 14-year-old boys put a little video together for our organization. And I'll just leave it, they called it, "These dogs are the first line of defense." And they are. They are our first line of defense in the military, whether it's Secret Service, ATF, FBI, they are the first line of defense to protect us all. Thank you.
Number 9, Medal of Bravery for Nemo.
Hopefully, this continued effort will provide advanced knowledge and education to the public and encourage the advancement of congressional recognition of these fearless animals. As many of you know, my father was Nemo's handler in Vietnam. He was always very humble about his service and rarely spoke of the events of December 4th, 1966. The only time I can recall that he sat down and spoke in detail with anyone outside of the family about the events of that evening was several years ago behind closed doors at the dedication of Nemo's kennel at Lackland Air Force Base. These brave animals, from horses to pigeons to our fearless canines, rush into battle. They transport, they search, they rescue, they secure, they protect, all at the command of their handlers. They do this without hesitation, without selflessness, without fear of death itself. Their tenacity and willingness to never retreat and never back down is the reason many of our military and first responders make it home every day to their families. I have very little doubt that if it were not for Nemo, my father would not have had the chance to be the husband, the father, the respected member of the community he became, and I would not be standing here today in front of all of you. We should always be thankful, recognize, and award the animals who run towards, not from, battle and fight until it is ended, even at their own sacrifices. In closing, I would like to read the words my father inscribed at the War Dog Memorial in Tampa, Florida. Quote, "Brave beyond words, ferocious without self-regard, bonds never broken, loyal till death, defender of the night. He was a war dog. Stay back, handler down." Quote. On behalf of Robert Thronberg at Nemo A534 of the 377th Security Police, thank you all very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian. Oh, goodness gracious, that's wonderful. Our last medal tonight, let me get over there now, is going to be Ziggy. Okay. Multi-purpose K9 Ziggy from the U.S. Marine Corps Special Operations Command. Ziggy did tours in Mexico, Jordan, and Afghanistan as part of the Special Operations Command, and he is with us here tonight to receive his award. Here's the story of Ziggy.
My name is Sean Hemphill. I was a multi-purpose canine handler at the Marine Corps Special Operations Command from 2012 to 2020. And this is MPC Ziggy. I came back from a deployment in 2017. The dog that I had at the time was retiring, and I ended up picking up Ziggy. I knew that I was picking up a dog that had a good nose, which is great, but also had some pretty serious behavioral issues. But we started to kind of learn each other and build a really good bond and grow as a canine team. Although there's many situations I can think of where, you know, I looked at Ziggy and thought to myself, oh, thank God you're doing the right thing. One of the main ones that made me feel like this dog was sacrificing so much, and in the face of definite danger and absolute conflict, he was still willing to run the end of that leash and push out and do his job. So all that would have to be on one particular operation in northeastern Afghanistan. Myself and several of my teammates were ambushed. Obviously, Ziggy's on my hip, you know, throughout all of this. Two that I know of, PKMs, ring out, and I dive for cover. Everybody else is diving for cover, trying to return fire at the same time. After a few volleys back and forth between me and my team and the enemy, ISR told us that several of the enemy personnel were trying to flee the area. So we all got together and decided to try to cut off the enemy and not allow them the opportunity to get away from us. I put Ziggy on a 30-foot leash. We were trying to go straight and to the left, and he pulled straight and to the right. I brought it back, reset him, zeroed him in to the left, tried to send him again, and he pulled straight and to the right again. I brought it back again, and that third time he pulled straight and right, he was just clawing at the dirt, digging up dirt, trying to get around that corner. So So I pulled him back and relayed to my team, like, I think there's a person around this corner. But long story short, it turned out to be an armed individual that was waiting for us to cross that intersection in order to ambush us again, which would have indefinitely killed Ziggy, myself, and maybe some of my teammates. We were able to negotiate that problem because of him, his nose, and his willingness to execute the task at hand. When I think about the relationship that Ziggy and I have, we've shared suffrage and we've shared pleasure. He has put his life on the line for me and for members of my team. He is truly a warrior at heart. And at the end of the day, he's my best friend, you know?
Ziggy was a force multiplier on 56 nighttime helicopter assault raids targeting high-level enemy leaders. He assisted in discovering 43 weapons caches, 330 IEDs, and over 5,000 pounds of homemade explosives. Ziggy also never had a Marine fatality on his watch, and his actions also inspired the Afghan partners to continue the fight after seeing him in action. We are very proud to award Ziggy with the Animals in War and Peace Medal of Bravery number 11 for his outstanding performance. Thank you, Ziggy, for your bravery and service to your country with the United States Marine Corps Special Operations Command.
That's awesome. Chris Willingham will say a few words on Sean and Ziggy's behalf. And Sean, why don't you bring Ziggy on in here and get him set up right here.
Hello again. Thank you again for this opportunity, Ms. Robin. Absolutely incredible to be part of this event, just seeing all these dogs from different units and agencies, and K9 is obviously it's a career field that transcends whatever unit you're a part of. If you're K9, you're K9. If you ever held a leash, you understand that bond and that brotherhood you're a part of. And I'm absolutely privileged and honored to introduce Sean Hemphill and retired multi-purpose K9 Ziggy. I had the opportunity to work with them in the Marine Corps. And you know, we've heard a little bit about that bond between the dog and handler, because you have to have that synergy between the dog and handler to become a well-working dog team. It's a dog team for a reason. So just a real quick highlight on the handler here. You know, Sean was one of my guys at MARSOC, Marine Corps Special Operations Command, and during that 7 years, he deployed 5 times. During the 7 years, he raised his hand and said, "Here I am, send me," 5 times. He had another dog before Ziggy, and his operational experiences, his training knowledge, when he got paired up with Ziggy, was what made him successful with this dog. Because as you heard, the dog had some behavioral issues, but at that point, he had enough experience to get the full potential of that dog and become a fully mission-capable asset and a true force multiplier for the teams. Absolutely proud of you. I love seeing Ziggy getting the recognition that he rightfully deserves for his acts of bravery on the battlefield, and thanks for holding the leash, dude.
I'd like to ask Chaplain Kibben to come on up and present the medal to Ziggy. There you go. Awesome. Put that on him. Thanks. She loves it. That's great. Thank you. Yeah.
I think he just gave his own speech, so I don't really have a whole lot to say. Well, best for last, I suppose. Stop. I really don't have a whole lot to say, and it's about 30 degrees cooler out in that hallway, so I'm not going to bore you with a 45-minute speech and just watch the sweat bead off everybody's forehead. Honestly, the only thing I have to say is, on behalf of myself and Ziggy, thank you all so much for being here. And thank you, Robin. Thank you, Chris. I wish I had an introduction like that every time I walked into a room. That'd be fantastic. But we both really appreciate it. Thank you all.
All righty. Well, I'm just overwhelmed with the love and the joy and the response, the emotion that's in this room tonight. It has just been our pleasure and privilege to be here to honor these animals. And if I can just get another round of applause for everybody that's here tonight, I think they more than deserve it. So our nomination period is now open for our next selection of candidates. So if you think of anybody, please go to animalsandwarandpeace.org and submit your next hero. And before I forget, all the medalists, I want you to come up to the front of the room. We're going to take pictures. And then that's pretty much it, so don't go away. But now I would like to call up the chaplain, Kibben, one more time to give a blessing of the animals.
You know, they say that dogs and their owners begin to look alike. And all you have to do is look at K9 Hurricane and Michael Mariaki, and you, and you got that. But if that's not entirely true for everybody else, what is true is that they certainly act alike. When you talk about things like service and sacrifice and resilience and responsiveness, you talk about behavioral traits like obedience, these are humble heroes. And in that, they look exactly alike. Are the dogs all in? If the handlers could put their hand on their dog, and if the handlers have brought somebody with them, if that person with them could put their hand on the handler's shoulder, would you receive the blessing? Almighty God, bless those who have shown us what it means to be fearless and faithful, to be unwavering in their devotion to duty, to move toward the battle, and to do so supporting and supported by one's best friend. Almighty God, bless them, those who have stand before us to show us all of these remarkable traits, that we would give them a sense of our gratitude, that they would have a sense of your strength and your well done, good and faithful servants. Bless them and keep them and hold them as you do in the palm of your hand. We pray these things in the strength of your name. Amen.
Well, that's it. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Please mark your calendars next year. You can all come back and join us again for our next selection, but it's going to be hard-pressed to beat these animals here tonight. So I just want to thank Marshall and Hurricane and Feco and Corey, Robert Thornburg for coming out, the Winds for coming out here, for coming over here from Ohio, Taylor Canfield for bringing Nico. This has just been an amazing night, and I'm just overwhelmed. I'm sure you are too. And make sure you check out the artifacts in the back. You'll really love what they stand for after learning about these stories. God bless you all. Thank you so much for coming out, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.
My name is Jay Wynn. I'm here with my daughter, Anna Wynn. We're here to represent Smoky. She was in the United States Air Force during World War II. Well, it was probably just like the reunion that he had when she came through the 60-foot culvert in New Guinea, bringing a little string so that communications can be laid in the airfield. She came running out around his ankles, wagging her tail, and jumping up into his arms. He's going to say, there you have it, baby. You won the big award. Congratulations.
Yeah. Probably when he went through the little pipeline, and he told that story a lot. Yeah. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna guess probably meat, because all dogs love meat. So.
Smoky had a lot of tricks in her bag. They had a TV show back in Cleveland in 1950. It was live TV for like 36 weeks. So he taught her new tricks and had her do the tricks on TV. And I guess he said he never repeated a trick in all the episodes. So she was a very talented dog. 4 pounds. Yep. Yep.
We have a Labradoodle. He's 6, and his name is Henry. Thank you. What a way to celebrate. Please introduce yourself.
My name's Ron Aiello. I'm chairman of the United States War Dogs Association and founding member. And been running the organization now for about 21 years. We started back in 2000, 5 handlers from Vietnam, dog handlers. And we decided to start this organization, the United States War Dogs Association, to support military working dogs and their handlers, because no one else were. And so we started with care packages in 2003 when we went over to Afghanistan. We started sending care packages, and up to today I have probably over 30,000 care packages we send over there. And we supported kennels all over the world. And we just gave help to all the dogs and the handlers wherever it was needed. So doing it for 21 years, and I'm getting much older, I thought I should be able to turn this over, the organization, to someone younger, someone who was a dog handler, because that is in our bylaws, you have to be a dog handler. And I found Chris Willingham about 10, 12 years ago. I was supporting him and Luca while they were deployed in the Middle East. And we become friends over the years. And I looked at several other handlers, but I always came back to Chris. And finally, about two and a half years ago, I asked him if he would take over as president. And he said, yes, I'm honored to do so. So he took over, and he's doing a smack-up job. I mean, he's doing such a great job running the organization. And I'm at a point where I'm going to be probably walking away from it all in May, and I'm going to be walking away from it very happy and satisfied as to what we did over the last 21 years. Yes.
It's a visual, beautiful, exciting place to be. Please tell us about it in your own words.
Well, the office has a lot of photos of the dogs and the dog handlers that we supported over in the Middle East over the last, 17 years. And they send me photos. They send me flags that they flew over their base. I have a 1 1/4 life-size dog by Susan Bahari out of California, and that was a dog that was in Max, the movie Max. That's in there. And I have a bronze dog out in the herb garden. That's 1 1/2 life size, and that's a copy of our dog, military dog memorial we put up in New Jersey, at Homedale, New Jersey. So I have that outside, I have the dog inside, I have all the photos, and unfortunately, I have an area there. It's a memorial area of all the handlers who died in the Middle East and the dogs. It's a memorial corner, and I look at it every day, and wish I didn't have to look at it.
I'm sure it's a solemn place, but it's a beautiful
It's very solemn. It's really great. I have what I like about it. We have school children, 4-H clubs, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. They would do care packages and then bring them over and come inside and learn about what military dogs actually do. Because, you could tell somebody, you have to really explain it to them fully. And we also have a projector where we show our promotional video, which is 4 Marine dog teams being deployed in the Middle East. And it really lets the kids see what the dogs are actually doing. So it's very thrilling for me and rewarding every day to be in there.
What a wonderful way to honor these dogs and these veterans. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
Multi-purpose K9, yes.
Explain it.
Okay, yeah, for sure. My name is Sean Hempill.
Ready?
My name is Sean Hempill. I'm Ziggy's handler. Ziggy is an MPC, a multi-purpose canine. So an MPC is essentially a dog that is capable of tracking, detection, and bite work all together. So typically you would have a dog that's capable of either one or maybe 2 of those. Ziggy is capable of all 3.
Is Ziggy rare in canine service dogs?
The MPCs are very rare, yes. Very difficult to select one. It's definitely a process that takes a little bit of time and quite a bit of patience, that's for sure. I've had Ziggy since, I think I picked him up in 2017.
What struck you as this is the dog?
You know what? When I first picked up Ziggy, we had a difficult relationship, to say the least, which I think just adds pretty great volume to the story in general. Ziggy was known for biting people when he wasn't supposed to. He was known for being very temperamental, and he was known for being one of the dogs that you didn't want to mess with, to put it nicely. So when I picked him up, it was tough to kind of build that relationship together. But I spent several months doing socialization skills with him, and just continuing to work him around people and around dogs, and trying to get him back on a level where he wasn't afraid of everyone and he didn't want to bite everyone. So.
Is there one memory of the work the 2 of you did together, one incident that sticks out in your mind that just shows what an exemplary soldier he is?
Oh gosh, that's a very difficult question to answer. There are many. I can tell you it would be tough for me to select just one. I know without any doubt that I'm standing here today with my legs here because of this dog, and most likely I'm standing here today alive because of this dog.
I want you to tell us
Well, at least one story, all right. So Ziggy's had several fines, obviously. I'm sure you've read the program. In every operation that we ran, he was always ready to run point. He was always completely fearless, had no regard for his own safety. He wanted to accomplish the mission. And he did an excellent job of that. I've had him on leash where he responded to an IED in front of us, probably 25 feet away. It was a 105 shell, which is more than enough to do some damage, to say the least. I've had him on leash respond to RPG rounds, mortar rounds, I mean, you name it. This dog has saved my life and the lives of my teammates on many occasions.
I can tell you that my husband is a vet from Vietnam, and we both watched your video together twice, and it choked him up. So thank you so very much for your service and Ziggy's service.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
What's in the future for you and Ziggy?
I think the future for me and Ziggy is him lounging around on the couch and carrying around his toys as much as he wants, and loving on his mom.
All right, Ziggy, when you first met Feco, what struck you about him?
It's just his goofy personality. He's always getting in trouble, really. But when it's time to go to work, he works.
When did you know he would be a superior Coast Guard?
He's always been a good dog. He's got an on and off switch. He's goofy one minute, and when you tell him to find it, he does his thing.
Hey, go ahead, get those mics in close. You gotta use your arm.
This is the best I can. Very longer? Do you need a repeat?
No, that's good.
Okay.
That's good.
So I hear, Corey, that Feco is retiring this summer.
Correct.
What is Feco's first plan to do in retirement?
Eat a lot of chicken.
And who makes the chicken?
My wife does.
Your wife does. Does Feco have a favorite recipe?
Just boiled chicken.
Chicken.
Yeah.
And tell me about the other members of the family for Feco.
So he's got my son, Colby. I have a daughter, Annika. And then we have a German Shepherd. There's 3. We call her Maybell. And then we have a 10-year-old pit bull named Coco.
Wonderful.
Yep.
They all get along.
Yep.
That's excellent. Do you have anything to say, Feco?
You know, maybe not everybody knows how it works, but a service animal always ends up with the person, the man or woman he was with in the last few years. Is that how?
With the Coast Guard, yes.
Yeah. Tell us about that. Tell her.
So Feco started in December 2014, so he's going to retire in June of this year. And then after retirement, I'll adopt him and he'll continue living with me and my family.
Why do they do that like that?
What's that?
Why do they do that, you know, with the adoption like that?
So the dog is with us every day. They stay with us. They live in our house. They become part of the family. And so I spend more time with Feco than I do my wife and kids. So it's just a natural bond that you develop over the years. And,
a natural bond and a special relationship.
Right.
You trust you trust him.
Yep.
Tell me about some of the things he's done and what stands out to you about what's been some of his best performances.
So we've done, all the major sporting events, 3 Super Bowls, World Series, NHL, NBA playoffs. The thing where I really think we bonded at was we did the 2016 Summer Olympic Trials in Eugene, Oregon. I think that's when we really started clicking as a team and started growing together.
And what does he do? What's his routine?
As far as
drugs,
explosives.
That's what I thought. Smell it. So talk about that.
So our normal duties were assigned to Alameda, California. So our normal duties is we're one of 2 K9 teams that cover the San Francisco Bay. So we do all the commuter ferries, the tour ferries, cruise ships, container ships. And prior to COVID, we had over 10 million passengers annually on the ferry system. So our daily routine is going out and riding ferries, working ferry terminals, stuff like that.
Fantastic.
Hi, my name's Mike Mason. I served as Korea with Staff Sergeant Reckless, 1953, Anti-Tank Company, 2nd Battalion, 5th Marines, 1st Marine Division. Now, that's getting it all in there, isn't it? And I feel deeply honored to be invited to the 2nd award ceremony for war animals.
We are so honored that you're here, Mike, and we are so grateful for your service to our country. God bless.
Well, if I had it all to do, I'd do the same thing again, believe me.
We know you would.
Yeah.
God bless.
This is a deep, deep honor. Our commander is with us, our post commander for the Veterans of Foreign Wars, Post 2916. He was here last year. Unfortunately, our quartermaster, who was here last time round, has deceased. He passed away. And the lady I'm with is a retired nurse. She takes care of me in my old age, helps take care of me anyway. Wonderful person. And what else can I say? It's good to see you again. It's good to be here again, believe me. And I'll tell you, Robin is just such a wonderful lady, support her 1,000%. When we were in California a year or 2 years ago at Camp Pendleton, one of the news commentators says, well, why did you come here? I said, because of Robin. You mean you didn't come here for the ceremony? I said, yes, for the ceremony, but because Robin Hutton has brought the history and heroics of Staff Sergeant Reckless to the fore. Without her, it would be forgotten forever.
That's right, Sergeant Reckless lives.
Yes. And just for the record, in January the 1st, 2019, my VFW post, we named our hall Staff Sergeant Reckless Memorial Hall. As far as I know, it's the only animal ever named after anything in a VFW. That may not be true, I don't know, but it was deeply an honor. And I didn't bring it up, some of the other members did, because I'm the only one associated in my whole VFW post was Staff Sergeant Reckless. But Steve's a wonderful, wonderful horse. Wasn't a horse, she's a Marine.
She was a Marine.
I got to correct myself, or Robin killed me for sure.
Semper Fi.
Semper Fi is right.
Do you have a memory of Sergeant Reckless?
A memory of Sergeant Reckless? Do you have one?
Back up just a little bit, Karen.
What a memory.
A memory. Something that she did.
Yes, okay. I'll tell you something humorous. In our squad time, when we were back in the reserve area, Sergeant Reckless was in that compound. As first I came in contact with her. She was elsewhere. I was on an outpost when I first went over. Well, we had a guy named Bob Myers that worked in a mess hall. So every morning about 5 or 5:30, Sergeant Reckless would come into our tent, go over and nudge him to wake him up. And if he didn't have something to give her, like an apple, an orange, or a cookie or something, she'd take her teeth and grab the blanket, yank it off of him, and then start rubbing on his body. Now it was cold weather out. Bob got up pretty quick to give her something. That's the humorous side of her.
Fantastic.
Good. Excellent.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay.
Marshall Merarkey. I'm a former Secret Service officer, K9 handler with the emergency response team, and this is my K9, Hurricane, my best friend.
Okay, did you name him Hurricane, or did he come that way?
So he came that way from overseas. When I first walked up to him, I saw on his collar, Hurricane, and I was like, that is awesome. I have to have this dog.
Did he live up to the name?
He sure did. He is still a Hurricane now, and I've had him over 10 years.
What would be your fondest memory and what proved that he was an exemplary soldier?
So my fondest memory is obviously when we had the fence jumper in 2014. That was when I actually got to see Hurricane put it all on the line for me. He got beat up real bad. He did not give up. He made sure that he did his job, what he was born to do. And people asked, that he was protecting the president? Does he know that he was at the White House? And it's like, no, he was protecting me. He's making sure that individual doesn't get the dad. That's something that every time I look at him, I get to know this dog was willing to die for me, and that's what makes our bond so special.
That just in itself, as a dog owner, is the highest honor. What are his plans for the future?
So we started a charity in his name called Hurricane's Heroes, and he is now the face. And I use his story and his notoriety to get the word out about other retired working dogs. Just make sure they get the care and the great life that they deserve the best. They worked hard, they served their country, they did their duty. They really need to be taken care of in retirement. So since he retired early and we had some extra time on our hands, I figured we have to use this time wisely. We got to give back because we've been so fortunate. We have to make sure we return that to all his brothers and sisters out there.
So how can they find this? Now what?
Move over here just a little.
I'm going to need a massage.
Please. They good.
Well, give your organization as much
sure.
social media. We're going to do one more part. Okay, here we go. How can they find out about your organization?
So if you want to, give back to retired police and military dogs, you can go to K9HurricanesHeroes.org. It's a full 501c3 nonprofit. We make sure that the money gets to the right places and that the puppies can get this great life that you see him have now. Just get that top line medical care and not have to worry about the expenses.
As part of the citizens of the United States, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
For the service to these dogs. You're giving them an exemplary life.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
I found out I was going to be.
Wait. Let me get set up. Okay, when did you find out you wanted to be a dog handler?
So we had a fence jumper at the White House when I first made the emergency response team. And when I ran out to meet the individual and proned him out and went to cuff him, my partner came around with his canine. And while I was down on the ground cuffing the individual, and I looked up at my partner and he had his dog, I just thought, man, I'm in the wrong spot. I want to be that person, you know? So I saw that bond and that protection. Like that dog, I was kind of on my own. That handler had his dog, meaning nobody was going to get to him. That's when I knew that that's what I wanted.